kids are asleep right now and I'm getting ready to plant my onions. So if you did not know, there are 3 different types of onions. There are long day onions, short day onions, and intermediate day onions. So depending on your zone will depend on which type of onion you should be planting. As you can see, I have both long and short day onions. Usually we grow long day onions, but I was gifted these short day onions, and these are a red onion. It's the only red onion seed I have, so I am going to plant them and see how they do. Before you get into growing onions, again, you should look into what onions grow best in your area, whether you need long day, short day, or intermediate onions. And the next step is to decide how you want to grow your onions. So you can grow your onions from seed like we do, and I found that that's the best way to get the largest, best looking onions that store long term. Or you can buy sets or starts. And those are basically just pre-started onions. We have tried those before and they didn't do the best, and since we've switched over to seeds, we've had better luck. If you watched my video where I recommend where to get seeds and what seeds I'm going to be planting, I talked about how I order a lot of my bulk seeds, like onions, from Johnny's Seed Company. So last year, I'll put up a picture here, we grew yellow expression onions. They did great, they stored well, and we grew a ton of them. But like I said, I was gifted these from Oregano Republic, and I'm going to be using these this year, and I guess we'll see over the next couple weeks how they do. You can't get individual seed packets from that company. They actually sell their seed packets as like variety packs, and these onions came in one of their variety packs, and they all come with a couple tools, including this great seed starting tool. So I'm just going to use this to poke a couple holes in each cell. So in this one little square right here, I'm going to sow 4 to 6 seeds. You don't want the holes to be very deep. So a rule of thumb is you kind of want them 2 to 3 times the size of the seed. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't mind separating my onions. You could obviously do 1 onion seed per cell, and you would have an easier time when transplanting them out. You wouldn't have to separate them or anything. I find it's not very difficult to separate the onion seeds, plus I'll save more room, and I won't have to use as many 6-packs to plant as many onions as we grow, because like I said, we grow a lot. We use them for storage. We also use them for canning throughout the year. In my previous video, I share our seed starting mix, and our seed starting mix does have worm castings. However, that's not really a great like fertilizer. Yes, it gives it some nutrients, but our seed starting mix is basically just peat moss and perlite with a little bit of worm castings. So after all of these sprout, I'll give them about a week or 2, and then I'm going to fertilize them. And I will take you guys along as they grow, but let's get started. I will share at the end of the video how many I actually end up planting. I'm just going to make sure I label everything good because I am starting 3 different varieties. I have yellow sweet Spanish, Walla Walla, and red burgundy. Let's start with the yellow sweet Spanish because I already opened this pack. So if you've never seen an onion seed, they basically come out of a flower from a 2nd-year onion, and they are about that big. They're not very big, but they're not super tiny like a petunia or a snapdragon seed or anything like that. So they are pretty easy to work with. Alright, so I just finished this whole pack of the yellow sweet Spanish, and it says a large, long day onion with golden brown skin and sweet flavorful flesh. The fruit can weigh 1 to 2 pounds and stores well. This variety produces a high yield of uniform globe-shaped bulbs. So I did this whole pack, and like I said, I was going to do 4 to 6 per cell, so I'm going to estimate 5. 5 per cell per 6-pack is 30, and I ended up doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 6-packs, so I did 300 of these onions. I'm going to move on to the Walla Walla onions next. It did all but 2 of the 6-packs in this tray. I will also say that this seed pack says approximately 275 seeds, and like I said, I was able to plant at least 300. I'm sure I got an extra seed in there somewhere. Now let's move on to our Walla Walla onions. So before I move on, I am going to label each of these 6-packs individually, just because I'm not really good at labeling or keeping up with things, and I've never really purchased actual tags for labeling. I usually just use what I have around, or I don't label at all, and it just becomes a mess. So like I said in previous videos, I am trying to invest in things that are going to make my gardening easier and a better experience. So the reason I'm choosing to label each 6-pack individually is because when we move these out to the greenhouse in another month or so, we might have to take them out of the trays, and I don't want them getting mixed up. We do have to reuse the trays, but the 6-packs can sit right on our counter, and our onions don't get planted out until about mid to end March. Alright, I just finished up the rest of this tray. I'm going to put it in there under the lights, and the lights will turn on automatically tomorrow. They're set on a timer. I'm going to grab another tray and finish up that package of Walla Walla onions. Alright guys, we are on to our red burgundy onions. These are a short day onion, and we are a long day onion area, or an intermediate day onion. So I think I'm only going to do like 5-6 packs of these just to see how they do. If they do really good, I'll plant more next year because I really like red onions. Alright guys, so we just finished, and we have 2.5 full trays of onions. In total, we planted around 700 to 800. That's the most we've ever planted. We usually plant around 300 to 400. So I'm excited to keep you guys updated with how these varieties do and take you along with us as they grow. So next video, I will be doing our carnations, petunias, and snapdragons, so stick around.